Hey, what's up guys? So today we are going to make a simple saving and loading system in Unity. So let's get started. So here is the small setup that I have. A small display for the player health, a display for the amount of money that the player has, and then if we go into the 3D world, we can see just a player with a 3D text attached. And then here we have like the testing script. So this would be the script or class that you want to save. So as you can see here, we have to save info, the information that we want to save. And then we just have some random values here. So for the player health, the money count, and the player name. And then here is for the actual UI elements. So if I were to play this, as you can see, it updates everything. And I can change the values here and everything just changes, so I can have anything here. But as you can see currently, if I just close the game and restart the game, everything just gets reset back to normal. So let me just change the values to, let's say, some random ones, that is, and then let's just have some random name as name. And then if I do right click here and do save, okay, so this should have created a text file, as you can see here. So backups, player data.backup, as you can see here is the time as well. And now if I were to play that again, as you can see, everything just loads up normally as they should. Alright, so this is how it works. Obviously in your game you would actually link the saving system to when the player exits the game or something, but for the sake of this tutorial it's right here. Alright, and we can also manually load the save files. So now let's get to the coding side of things. So here is the coding side of things. So as you can see here, we have a static class. The reason why we have a static class is because we actually don't want to instantiate the save system each time we are saving things. Alright, so this allows us to just call the save system and then just access the save and the load function directly. Okay, and inside the static class, as you can see, everything else should be static. So here we have the static bool save function and then the static search result load function. And let's take a look at the save function. Here it takes in the file name, which file name to associate with this backup, and then what to save. As you can see, this is a generic, so it can take any class that you throw at it, given that it can be serialized. Alright, so then here we just get the path name. We'll look at the getPath function later on. Alright, so for now, just know that this returns the file path to the directory where we save the file. And here we have a binary formatter. This ensures that the player cannot just modify the backup file. Alright, and then here we have a file stream. We open it as create, and then we just do BinaryFormatter.serialize. We pass in the file stream and then what to save, and then don't forget to close the file. So that's basically it, and then we just return true or false if we got an error. And then for the load function, I actually used search result, which is an asset that I've made. If you want to learn more about it or download it and use it in your own project, feel free to click the link in the comment section down below or the description. And essentially what it does is it allows you to return values in a safe way. So as you can see here, we are checking if the file doesn't exist. We just return an error, and then each time before using the values, we can just check whether or not the return value is good or not, which allows us to streamline error handling. So here we just return file not found, and in case it exists, then we just open the file stream and then we just do BinaryFormatter.deserialize, and then we pass in this file stream again, and then we close the file stream. And then as you can see here, we are just casting the output of this deserialize as t, which is the generic data type, and then storing it in a temporary variable. And then we are just going to do search result.success.loaded object. So this is our return value. Now to the next part is the getPath function. As you can see, this is quite simple. It takes in the file name and then just points towards the application.persistent data path. This basically returns the actual data folder of the game for any platforms, and then we just create a backup folder, and then if it does not exist, we create a directory, and then we just return the file path. Now moving on to our test script, this would be your player script or your script that you want to save. And then here, as you can see, we've got a save info. All right, this is the class that we are going to save, or the player data if you want. And then here are the basic things. All right, so as you can see, here is the load function. I store a search result to save info, and then I just call save system.load, and I pass in the name of this file, which is player data. Okay, and then here we just check if it's an error. If it's an error, we debug the error message and we return we don't want to continue. And if it's not an error, then we just override our current data. Moving on to refresh display. Here, as you can see, it just takes in to save info and just overrides the UI with it. And here is the save system. So it's basically just save system.save. We pass in the file name and the info that we want to save, so the player data. And here is the to save info class, which is important here is to mark it as system.serializable, else it might not save. And here we just have a player health, money count, and player name, and that's it. So this marks the end of today's video. And if you guys found this video helpful, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you have not already, and don't forget to check out the links in the description for my asset search result and the asset for these UI elements that I have. It's quite nice. I'll leave it down below. Also, this project will be available on the Unity Asset Store, so watch out for a link for this one as well. And if you've got any queries or questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next one. Bye.